Washington State looks to be entering a potential rebuilding year as they were one of two teams left behind in the Pac-12 conference, not being able to secure a Power 4 bid. And unfortunately for them, that's going to take a hit to a lot of different things, especially recruiting, given that they are no longer playing in a Power 4 conference. They lost a couple players to the transfer portal, most notably Cam Ward, their quarterback. That position is most definitely going to take a step back this year, but with their schedule, there's still a really good chance that Washington State will make a bowl game. They have a scheduling agreement with the Mountain West Conference. So just overall, the schedule's really not too difficult. Even though the roster may be taking a little step back, the record might be pretty similar to what we saw last season. Portland State is their first game. It's going to be a pretty easy one at home against an FCS school. Really not much to worry about there. Now, Texas Tech is going to be a very difficult game. The Red Raiders are going to be a pretty good team this year. They have a lot of depth, and they're just a really solid overall roster. Nothing really super amazing about the roster, but there's really no holes. This is going to be a really solid team. Even on the road, this is definitely a game that Texas Tech should be favored in, and they will probably win early on in the year. And the road trip to Washington is also a pretty difficult game. So those first three games, two of those might end up being losses. Washington's probably going to be favored here. They have a pretty solid team overall, not nearly as good as last year. But as far as overall talent goes, I think they're a little bit better than Washington State. And with the home field advantage, this is going to be a tough game for the Cougars to win. San Jose State at home, though, should be a nice bounce back game. San Jose State's really not going to be that great this season. This one should be a win for Washington State. The road trip to Boise State is going to be an exceptionally difficult one. Boise State is one of the best teams in the Mountain West, if not the best, and they're going to have a real shot at making the college football playoff as the Group of Five representative. It's a really solid team they've got. They're going to have already had a big test early in the season playing the Oregon Ducks in week 2. This game probably will be close for a little while, but playing at Boise State, it's kind of tough to see Washington State winning this one. After the bye week, though, things get a lot better. A road trip to Fresno State is going to be a tough game. This is a solid Fresno State team. They'll be in the top half of the Mountain West Conference. It's definitely a game Washington State doesn't want to overlook, but I do think that they will be slight favorites, and this is one they might be able to win. Even if they don't win it, it shouldn't really hurt their chances of making a bowl game very much. The next two games against Hawaii and San Diego State both should be pretty easy. Neither of those teams are going to be very good, especially not Hawaii. They'll both be down near the bottom of the Mountain West. After their second bye week, schedule's really still not that bad. Utah State will be an interesting game. The fact that it's at home definitely gives Washington State an advantage. New Mexico on the road, that one should be a win for Washington State as well. Road trip to Oregon State will definitely be a close game. Oregon State was the other team that also wasn't able to make it into a Power 4 conference. And this game I think will be really fun to watch. Talent-wise, maybe just a little bit in Washington State's favor. But the fact that they're on the road is going to even that out a bit. Definitely going to be a really close, fun game there. And finally, we got Wyoming to end the season. They'll be a pretty solid team again this year. This is going to be a close game, I think, but the home field advantage should just slightly push it in Washington State's favor. Overall, they've got 6 home games and 6 away games. Only 2 of their opponents are ranked in the rank and file top 25, which now that I'm looking at the schedule, I think that's wrong. I don't see a single one on there. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that we had a little bit of an error there. I'll go ahead and correct that. So it will say 0, and you'll be wondering what I was talking about. And the schedule difficulty is a 1.5 out of 10. Moving on to the prediction, we do have a bit of a rough start to the season here, winning at Portland State but dropping 3 out of their next 4. Those are all just really tough games. It's difficult to see Washington State winning any of them. They all fall into the toss-up category, but it does really feel like Washington State will be heading into that first bye week at 2-3. Out of that bye week, though, there are only 2 more games where they will not be favorites. We have them winning 1 at Fresno State. That'll be really close, but we are going to go with Washington State on the road. And then Hawaii and San Diego State should be much easier games, moving Washington State to 5-3 and 1 game out of bowl eligibility. After the second bye week, I think they'll pick it up right away with a win over Utah State and tack on another one with New Mexico. The Oregon State game, like I said, is going to be really close. We did end up going with the Beavers to give Washington State their 4th loss, but against Wyoming, they'll move to 8 wins and finish the season 8-4. Adding up all of the percentages, we do have a projected record of 7.6 and 4.4, which is just a little bit higher than FPI, who's got them a lot closer to 7-5. But either way, definitely favoring Washington State making a bowl game. With this schedule, I can't really imagine them missing one. They have a 3.2% chance to make the college football playoff. For Washington State, they're really going to have to go undefeated. Even with this schedule, I really don't see another way that they can possibly secure a bid because they're not going to have a conference championship to go to, which is really unfortunate. But I don't know, if they have a better year than we think that they're capable of, pulling off that Texas Tech game would be huge. Road trip to Washington and Boise State. There's maybe enough there, but at 12-0, it is really difficult to see Washington State even securing a bid then, just with how tough some of these other teams' schedules are going to be that will be ranked in the top 10. That being said, though, we are going to go with Washington State at 8-4. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in our next video.